me, so it was quite an uphill struggle. But I found enough people, more than enough, nearly 80 people to talk about on the whole, and whose lives are shrouded in mystery. And they've climbed the greasy pole. They want to be famous. They want to be influential. They want to be powerful. And they want to hide their secret.
They say royals don't bleed, but what if they burned? That's the question now circling Buckingham Palace. And right at the center of this wildfire is Prince Harry, red-faced, barefoot, and on the edge of going nuclear. But this isn't just another flare-up in the endless royal rumor mill. No, this is personal, this is dangerous. Because it's Tom Bower, Britain's most feared biographer, yanking the pen and hurling a grenade straight into the Sussex brand. And the fallout? It's already blazing into a full-scale inferno.
Lying when he said that he had the Queen's support. I think they played a blinder, and it was quite outrageous.
Let's rewind for a moment. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have always built their public image like a fortress, polished portraits, flawless lighting, and just enough mystery to keep the world guessing, especially when it comes to their children. Archie and Lilibet have been kept under a velvet curtain of privacy, rarely seen, never scrutinized. Their lives remain sealed off from public eyes. And that's no accident. Harry has guarded them like a lion with sharpened claws. Mention their names in the wrong tone, and he'll unleash lawyers faster than the palace can push out a press statement.
Christened their toddler last Friday in a small and intimate ceremony at their home.
But Tom Bower, he isn't just anyone. He's the man who stares down prime ministers, oligarchs, and billionaires without a flicker of fear. And now he's making a claim that slices straight through all the glossy PR spin like a scalpel. He says there's something deeply off about Lilibet's royal story, her birth, her christening, even her place in the royal bloodline itself. And this isn't some idle whisper. Bower spelled it out on national television with the chilling confidence of a man who's seen the receipts. According to him, the timelines simply don't add up.
The festive card, which was released on Thursday, shows the family of four beaming with excitement as baby Lily giggles in the air.
The documents, according to Bower, are murky. Key palace officials never signed off on the traditional rights that secure a royal child's claim. He even suggested that King Charles quietly ordered a private legal review into Lilibet's birth records. And you know it's serious when the king himself calls in lawyers. Inside Montecito, the revelation landed like a missile strike. Within hours, Harry was reportedly pacing the halls, slamming doors, and shouting so loudly it brought Archie to tears in the next room. Meghan, ever the strategist, scrambled to control the narrative. But even she couldn't contain the rising panic. Because she knew this wasn't just another messy tabloid headline, it was something far more dangerous.
Of today's video. So at the time, Archie Mountbatten Windsor was born May 6, 2019. And this was surrounded by controversy, largely to the unconventional decisions Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made.
This was existential. If the public begins doubting whether Lilibet is truly royal, the Sussex brand doesn't just take a hit, it collapses. Because here's the truth. Meghan and Harry don't just trade in celebrity, they trade in legacy. Every deal they've cut with Netflix, Spotify, and publishers has been built on the idea that they are the other royal family, the rebels, the outcasts. They're the couple who grabbed the crown sparkle and repackaged it for Hollywood. But if Lilibet's legitimacy falls under suspicion, that sparkle vanishes in an instant. Suddenly, every deal, every docuseries, every so-called bestseller looks less like truth and more like fiction wrapped in royal robes.
So much depth, he's so shallow that he doesn't understand the seriousness of the damage that he and Meghan, his American wife, have done over the past 5 years.
And Bower isn't finished, not even close. He's teasing a new book, reportedly stacked with documents, insider testimony, and what he boldly calls the definitive truth about the Sussex children. Just that phrase alone was enough to make Meghan, according to whispers, slam her laptop shut in the middle of a Zoom call. Because she knows this isn't idle gossip, it's a calculated strike. And unlike a tabloid blogger throwing darts, Tom Bower doesn't miss his target. Meanwhile, the palace has gone stone silent. No denials, no clarifications, nothing. And that silence, that's the part that's driving Harry to the brink. Because when Buckingham stays quiet, it's never by mistake. It's a message, and one louder than any press release.
Archie and Lilibet. I say shared some pictures. We don't get to see their faces. We get to see the back of their heads, and I think this promotes a little bit more of a.
We're watching this play out in real time, and Harry knows exactly what that means. He isn't just losing control of the narrative. He's losing the one thing he thought he still had, the illusion of safety. Inside Montecito, the panic has turned surgical. Meghan's team is in overdrive, working around the clock to flood the internet with carefully packaged distractions. Charity updates, polished motherhood stories, subtle rebranding of her lifestyle ventures. Anything to shove Tom Bower's claims out of the algorithm. Her strategy is crystal clear, drown the fire in flowers. But that kind of damage control only works if the flames run out of fuel. And Bower, he's just getting started.
And all the rest. So the fact that he actually comes to Britain on a very, very structured, well-organised tour, gives away £1.5 million to charities, money he hasn't really got, but he'll do anything to ingratiate himself, convinces the royal core of reporters that it's all reconciliation.
Bower's got gallons of fuel, and he's pouring it on with brutal timing. Just as Meghan was pitching fresh Netflix concepts and teasing a polished post-royal identity, the storm hit with full force. And this isn't just messy, it's radioactive. Executives are quietly backing away. 2 development meetings have allegedly been postponed indefinitely. One insider at a streaming giant even branded the Sussexes as high-risk talent with low trust. In Hollywood terms, that's code for not worth the trouble. But Harry isn't thinking about deals anymore. He's consumed with legacy and rage. Sources close to the couple say he's become fixated on stopping Bower, not debating him, not disproving him, destroying him. He's reportedly consulted top lawyers in both the UK and the US, hammering out one chilling question again and again. Can we sue him before the book comes out? The answer hasn't been what Harry wants to hear. Because Tom Bower doesn't just sling gossip, he builds legal fortresses around every page he writes. Every claim, every line. Triple sourced, documented, and lawyered to the hilt. Suing him is like throwing bare fists at a brick wall. And worse still, if Harry sues and loses, it doesn't just hurt him, it validates everything Bower has claimed. That's the trap. Fight and risk total exposure. Stay silent and look guilty. Every move is a gamble. And Meghan, she has no taste for gambling. Insiders say she's furious that Harry didn't act sooner, that he brushed off the early whispers about Bower's investigation. She wanted to strangle it at the root, threaten lawsuits, spook publishers, block the deal before it could grow legs. But Harry hesitated, still clinging to the fantasy that the palace might step in and defend them if things spiraled out of control. Now, Harry knows the defense he prayed for is never coming, because behind palace gates, another storm is brewing. Charles and William aren't scrambling in panic, they're planning. According to palace insiders, they've launched a quiet operation called the Ghost Protocol, a total media blackout. No comments, no denials, no whispers slipped off the record, just a wall of silence. And it isn't for appearances, it's deliberate strategy. Let Harry flail. Let the press feast. The less the palace engages, the more out of control he appears. And behind that silence, aides are reportedly preparing for the unthinkable. Contingency statements, airtight legal frameworks, even potential tweaks to the line of succession if and only if the scandal goes nuclear. Because while no one in the palace wants to erase a child from royal history, they've walked through fire before, and above all else, they understand what it takes to survive scandal. Sacrifices are always made, and while the royal machine grinds quietly behind the scenes, public opinion is shifting at lightning speed. For the first time, that usual wave of online sympathy for Harry and Meghan isn't rising. Instead, what's bubbling up is hesitation and skepticism. People are remembering the contradictions from past interviews, the Oprah claims that never lined up, the polished Netflix narratives, the baby photos always cropped just enough to spark quiet suspicion. And now, with Bauer's accusations hanging like storm clouds over everything, doubt is spreading fast. That's what's eating Harry alive. Not just the charges, but the silence that surrounds them. He's used to noise, pushback, outrage, controversy. But this void, it's worse, because inside that silence, he hears the one thing he can't fight, doubt. Not shouted, not furious, just whispering. And whisper by whisper, it's spreading. Inside the Montecito estate, every phone call now feels like a lifeline. Meghan's team is scrambling, firing off frantic pitches to magazines, desperate to land soft-focused profiles before Bauer's book detonates. Harry, meanwhile, has spiraled into paranoia. He's reportedly demanded absolute silence from staff, forcing new NDAs on employees who already signed them years ago. Security has been doubled. Even longtime caretakers have had their access to the children restricted. This isn't just privacy anymore, it's full lockdown, and the pressure is cracking the foundation. Meghan's inner circle is divided. Some insist the best strategy is to vanish, pull back, stay quiet, let the storm burn itself out. Others argue for offense, leak personal anecdotes, release family photos, even publish medical records if that's what it takes. But Meghan knows better. She knows the moment you try to prove a rumor false, you feed it power. And this one isn't fading, it's building momentum like a landslide crashing downhill. Bauer, in his trademark calculated silence, hasn't uttered a single word since dropping the teaser. But that silence is doing more damage than any PR blitz could dream of. Tabloids are stuffed with speculation. Morning shows are buzzing with panel debates on royal legitimacy laws. Even hard-nosed journalists are digging through dusty birth records, old announcements, and questionable timelines. Bauer hasn't just stirred the pot, he's tilted the entire media landscape forward, forcing everyone to lean in. In London, the palace remains stone still. William hasn't canceled a thing. Charles stays fixed on state matters. But behind the velvet curtain, the gears are grinding. Crisis meetings are underway. Legal advisors called in. Veteran courtiers flipping through centuries-old constitutional handbooks, asking the unthinkable. What happens if a royal child, once recognized, is suddenly not? It may sound medieval, but this is monarchy. And in monarchy, bloodlines are everything. What makes this strike even more brutal is how deliberate it feels. Insiders insist Bauer timed his release to collide with a major royal spectacle, Charles appearing before Parliament in full ceremonial dress, crown polished, cameras rolling, the entire nation watching. If Bauer's book drops just before that moment, it risks derailing everything. And Harry knows that's exactly the point. This isn't just about humiliating him anymore. It's about destabilizing the throne at its most visible hour. The deeper fear isn't the headlines, it's permanence. If this stain sticks, it hardens into history. Children grow up, questions never go away. And if Lilibet ever steps into the spotlight, she could carry that fog forever. Not because of anything she's done, but because of what her father failed to stop. And Meghan? She's already looking past the chaos. Whispers claim she's exploring solo branding paths, even taking meetings where Harry's team isn't invited. A quiet pivot, but a powerful one. Lifestyle partnerships, publishing deals, even a full rebrand as a businesswoman and mother, Meghan is said to be weighing it all, shedding the Duchess title completely. To her, it's not betrayal. It's survival. And maybe it's the only way to keep her image from sinking with Harry's. Because the tragedy here isn't just in the scandal, it's in the collapse of the story they sold. Harry believed he was building something new, a royal legacy free from palace politics and paparazzi poison. But legacy is fragile. When it rests on silence, secrets, and spectacle, it only takes one man with a pen to turn it all to dust. And Bauer hasn't even landed his final blow yet. The damage is already there. The trust is already gone. The fairy tale is cracked wide open. And for Harry, that's the real loss. Not the titles, not the crown, something far heavier.